Hey, VH shitheads! Happy Star Wars Day! It's May 25th. That's the day it is today.
That is the real anniversary of the original Star Wars opening.
Yeah. And, I know people like to tell you that Star Wars Day is May 4th, because May the 4th be with you. No. Fuck that.
It's catchy,
bullshit.
It's fun, but it's not celebrating shit.
Yeah, maybe you can, like, listen to the Imperial March on May 4th, and that's your way of celebrating that stupid Star Wars Day. But no, May 25th, you go all out. I'm going to be playing it. Oh, shit. It's not really May 25th. Obviously, we have to shoot this early. But on actual May 25th, I'm going to be playing Star Wars Episode 1 Monopoly, and I'm going to be watching some Star Wars movies, and it's going to be, and we're putting up all this stuff on VHShitfest, as you've probably seen. But this is real Star Wars Day. We're obsessed with Star Wars. I'm Tim, obviously, you know me. You've met Dabeedoo a couple times. This is Dabeedoo.
Hi.
Dabeedoo's a massive Star Wars fan, probably even bigger than me. It's disappointing, and I feel like shit every time I talk to him about Star Wars, because, like, he's just has so much great Star Wars stuff, which he doesn't have here, of course. We're in Dan's basement. Bitch. You know, it's still great. This is some of Dan's Star Wars trinkets. We got Jabba, who shoots water. We don't have him filled right now. Sorry.
That was from the special edition Burger King toy release.
97?
97, yeah.
97. And we got a couple Pez dispensers here. This looks to be a much older Pez dispenser.
Yes.
But,
That's newer, because it's got more detail.
Yeah, this looks nicer. And as opposed to that looks like
shit.
That looks like just like the E.T. merchandise you used to see, just like garbage. But whatever. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Star Wars merchandise. Yeah. We could go on forever. We're here to talk about Star Wars VHS. Now, on May 4th, because for some reason Lucasfilm has decided to, oh well, Dan is tempting me with this stunning Luke doll. Why don't you explain the specs of this, Dabeedoo?
This was a Power of the Force release, 12-inch Luke Skywalker. The Power of the Force line, the second Power of the Force line, the original Power of the Force line was released, I believe, in 1985. Power of the Force 2 line started off in 95. This figure, I believe, is around 97. And that's all I have to say about that. There's also, you should also collect them all, which include Grand Moff Tarkin, Sand Trooper, and Greedo.
If I had a Grand Moff Tarkin...
Where I got that, they have one.
You got that?
No, where I got that, they had one, but it was like $10 more.
What the hell? I know a guy who has every one of those except for Grand Moff Tarkin and the Death Star Gunner. Those are the only two he needs.
Well, after this long, prolonged intro, we're here to talk about Star Wars VHS. On May 4th, because Lucasfilm has decided to acknowledge that stupid holiday when it should be May 25th, they announced the Blu-ray of Star Wars, which has tons of great new special features, and I like the cover art for the complete collection. I'm buying a Blu-ray player just for this release. I'm excited about it, but who gives a shit when there's Star Wars VHS?
Yes.
Now, Star Wars on VHS has a long history that, as the movies came out, you know, they were released on VHS in, you know, just 20th Century Fox releases, but the ones most people probably had during the 80s and early 90s were the CBS Fox releases, the first of which came out in 1984. This is the original movie. On the back it says it was the biggest box office hit in the history of motion pictures.
Now,
this came out in 1984. E.T. had already beaten Star Wars by this point. These lying motherfuckers. But Dabeedoo just
there's
trying to crush me again.
Well, you know, they released the original film a couple times for the 1-year anniversary, and then also before home video was popular, like when Empire came out, they released it again so everyone was on the same page. So there's a chance.
If you count re-releases.
If you count the re-releases and inflation, that it made more than you.
I mean, if you adjust for inflation, Star Wars is the second highest grossing movie of all time still. Nice try, James Cameron.
Yeah. You're still not that good.
Yeah, you're not as good as George Lucas, who's the king. Let's give him his props on his day. Anyway, might hate him now, but who gives a shit? He made this movie. That's what's up. Anyway, the CBS Fox releases the first release of the original just 20th Century Fox release of Star Wars, which we don't have, unfortunately, and this first CBS Fox release, the very first printing of that, did not they didn't have the line, this one C-3PO line, which will be read dramatically by Dabeedoo.
Okay, this line is from right after our hero characters. You get stuck in the tractor beam on the Death Star, and now they're in the Death Star, I guess you could say, control room, and C-3PO is talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi. The tractor beam is coupled to the main reactor in 7 locations. A power loss at one of the terminals will allow the ship to leave. That was a terrible...
That was the worst C-3PO impression I've ever heard. Oh my god.
Well, I didn't know the line. I can,
okay, try to give me a classic 3PO line. Like, Thank the Maker. Give me Thank the Maker.
No, I can do the opening line.
Oh.
The opening line.
You won't even... You know that line. You know how he delivers Thank the Maker. Give me that. This oil bath is going to feel so good.
This oil bath is going to feel so good.
You got the inflection down, but the voice sounds like shit. Fuck that. Anyway, so these two releases didn't include this line for some reason. I don't know why. Every subsequent release did. The DVDs have it. Whatever. Anyway, so the CBS Fox releases were and Empire and Jedi came out in all of them weren't on VHS until 1986, which was when the first Star Wars trilogy box set was released, which is a beautifully packaged box set, exquisite packaging.
Look at this. This box incorporates all of the original posters,
and it feels like
into one image.
Painting.
This was before Photoshop.
Yeah, fuck Photoshop. This is what's up. And then look at this. You're already coming, just looking at this, just seeing all the movies by themselves. They open up. How? That's what you do. And then, it includes each CBS Fox video release, although it doesn't say CBS Fox. But it has the poster art, just unobtrusive, just nice, just the logo. It's beautiful. The Empire release, this box set, which is Dan's, unfortunately I don't own it. I hate myself. Dabeedoo has it, but it's in terrible condition.
Mine's in really bad shape.
It's just hideous condition. This is still sealed somehow. I don't know why somebody wouldn't open the best Star Wars movie, but that's weird, but whatever. And then Return of the Jedi, of course, as well, which I have the regular CBS Fox edition of, but I didn't bring it because I foolishly thought that it was the same as this one, but it's not, of course.
You also have this beautiful handwritten letter by George Lucas to the viewers.
Which I will read, not trying to impersonate George Lucas, because I'm not going to embarrass myself like Dabeedoo just did. But just listen to this. This makes me choke up a little bit. 15 years ago, I set out to make a film for a generation growing up without fairy tales. Star Wars was my own elaborate fantasy, but its popularity has gone beyond anything I had imagined. In years to come, I hope that you, your children, and your children's children will enjoy experiencing this saga as much as I have. George Lucas. See, it's moments like this that's just like, I can't hate George Lucas. I mean, we'll get to the prequels, but I have a bit of a soft spot for them, so maybe I'm biased, but I can't see how somebody, even if you hate everything about the prequels, and one person in this room definitely hates a lot about the prequels, I can't see how you couldn't still just love George Lucas. Like, he made Star Wars, and he made THX 1138 and American Graffiti, both stunning films as well. But like especially He Made Star Wars, that's a movie that's a life-changing movie for so many people, including I'm sure plenty of people are watching this, and definitely for me, and definitely for Dabeedoo. And I'm not going to speak for Dan because he'll probably shake his head or something. But it's just, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, people bitch, you know, Brian De Palma makes terrible movies now, but that doesn't change that he made, you know, Carrie and Blowout and just a bunch of great movies, which aren't even as good as Star Wars. But nobody, like, says, fuck Brian De Palma. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Scum-hating
Fuck
motherfuckers.
you for hating George Lucas.
Yeah. Anyway, Star Wars. That's the Star Wars trilogy box set from 1986. It was continually reprinted until...
Just want to say real quick, a company was created by George Lucas to make this movie. It was called Industrial Light and Magic.
What?
And all the shit that you like, Industrial Light and Magic does the special effects for. Transformers, Iron
Anybody
Man.
that likes that, by the way, stop. Anybody that likes this trash that he's talking about, stop watching. I don't want you watching.
Get the fuck out of here.
Star Wars is what's up.
Iron Man, yeah. Industrial Light and Magic only exist because of George Lucas and this motherfucking movie.
And Skywalker Sound and all that shit.
Yeah,
he's the king.
When you're watching a movie and that giant THX logo comes up,
what?
George Lucas.
What? Anyway, well, we're getting way off track.
Yeah, we are.
George Lucas is the king. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're celebrating Star Wars Day, because he's the king. But anyway, the next VHS release that we own, this isn't of the movies. This is a different thing. You'll be hearing a lot more about this later today. But the Ewok Adventure, Caravan of Courage, we have this 1990 release from MGM Home Video. It says, from George Lucas. Well, we'll talk about that later. Okay. Oh, man. Hilarious quote. Leonard Maltin quote on the back. But yeah, this is, you know, the TV movie. Whatever. But here's something we can talk a little more about. The Ewoks cartoon. Now, this is very interesting. We have this release of one of the Ewoks cartoons. This is from 1990. Both of these are. This has 2 episodes. This is Volume 1. It has Cries of the Trees and the Tree of Light. Now, one of these was written by Paul Dini, who later on went on to be one of the key creative forces behind Batman the Animated Series. He also wrote for the first couple seasons of Lost. He's a king, pretty much. But this episode's terrible. I've watched it. It's horrendous. But this has both those episodes, but then this tape is just the Tree of Light, but they came out the same year. So I'm confused. They're not like part of separate lines or anything. Very odd. This show's terrible. I wouldn't recommend really ever watching it unless you're like me or Dabeedoo, you know, or you just love Star Wars. You have to watch everything. Where I'm just watching the Jar Jar focused episodes of Clone Wars, and like I have to sit through it because I know this is what I do, you know. And with the new guy voicing Jar Jar, who's somehow even more annoying than the old guy.
Yeah.
Ugh, but anyway, these tapes, you know, this one's cut and wrapped around a black slipcase. I don't know what that's all about, but this one's in pretty nice condition. And yeah, this show's terrible. This is like terrible 80s animation, which is just scum.
Just bad.
Scum
Terrible.
Shit. Anyway, the next release we're going to talk about is the Star Wars trilogy box set that came out in 1995. Now, this edition, you know, this was supposedly the last time they'd ever come out. Now,
the definitive.
You'd think that that's just silly, like Disney Vault type posturing, but it really was the last time they came out, at least for a long time.
Yeah, it was going in. It was going in the Lucas Vault.
It was the last time that these versions of the films
with
came out.
Howard the Duck.
And yeah, here it is. I love this box set. You know, this is the first time I saw the trilogy. Probably was in around 95. You know, when I was 3 or 4. I was 4. 91 I was born. So, this also has another message from George Lucas, 1995, a different one, not handwritten, but it is signed. I mean, obviously not really signed. You know, it has a signature. So it's not this box isn't quite as nice as the other one, but It says, "The appeal of Star Wars has gone beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I am pleased that for the final video release of Star Wars in its original version, we can present it with the best sound and picture quality yet available, thanks to THX Digital Mastering. In the years to come, I hope you, your children, and your children's children will enjoy not only the trilogy, but also the adventures yet to come in the continually unfolding Star Wars saga."
Not nearly as touching.
Not as touching, but nice. It's a nice little message from George Lucas. But people complaining about him now, not releasing the original versions, they've known since '95. This isn't like a new thing. It's still kind of bullshit, but whatever. But these have these nice, covers with the huge Vader and the huge Stormtrooper and a huge Yoda. Balancing act here. But yeah, this is a nice copy of this box set that I got recently. All of the movies haven't been opened. They still have the little seal sticker on them. I don't know why somebody would buy Star Wars
and not
open it, because I bought this used at a buybacks, I think. But yeah, no, this is a nice little box set. These are this is the full frame edition. Unfortunately, I don't have the widescreen letterbox, but whatever. Also in 1995, okay, so this requires a little more explanation of history. One of the very first Star Wars related VHS releases was the Making of Star Wars, hosted by C-3PO and R2-D2, in 1979. And this was like a making of special that was hosted by C-3PO and R2-D2, featured interviews with George Lucas and Mark Hamill and everybody,
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
It's a very good documentary. It was reissued in 1980 by Magnetic Video, and it featured a trailer for Empire that is only available on that VHS officially anywhere. It wasn't a theatrical trailer; it was like its own thing. Special. I don't have it. I wish I did. It's one of my most desired VHS, definitely. If anybody has it, I'm willing to just send it my way for a reasonable price, or by reasonable I mean free, obviously.
You're not watching it.
You're not going to watch it. It's coming. It's going to be on the new Blu-ray. You can watch it in high definition. It's being remastered.
Yeah.
I want the VHS. That's what I want. But whatever. We do have one VHS copy of it, though, and that's the 1995 Kellogg's Mail-In Edition, which, Kellogg's cereal was just like, hey, you want a Making of Star Wars? Which they just called the Making of Star Wars. It doesn't say hosted by C-3PO and R2-D2, even though it's the exact same special. Yeah. It has a new cover that has a nice little it's the same as the New Hope cover is on the 95 edition, sort of, but it's moving into a drawing, so it's a nice little comparison. Yeah, there we go.
It's cute.
It's good. I think this is a great special. I would like to get the other editions of it, though. But whatever. In 1996, they put out when those Ewoks tapes that we talked about earlier came out, they also put out Droids tapes, the other cartoon. Also, Paul Dini worked on that as well. But Droids and Ewoks were re-released in these nice little clamshell editions, edited into movies like The Pirates and the Prince, which we have 2 copies of. Unfortunately, both are a little fucked up. We're willing to trade one of them. So yeah, they're, because we don't need 2 copies of this terrible pile of shit show.
Yeah.
But then we also have the Ewoks, the Haunted Village movie. These featured new artwork. Not particularly good artwork.
No,
it's almost worse. I think the coloring almost makes it worse.
Yeah, it does.
I love how it says Star Wars Animated Classics.
There was nothing classic about this.
First of all, there's no animated classics amongst any Star Wars animated stuff. The 2003 Clone Wars is pretty good.
Boba Fett Holiday.
The Holiday Special, that's only classic because it's the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes it good.
It's pretty good, but the new Clone Wars show has its moments, but it's hit or miss. So I don't know. Battle droids. Ugh. Scum shit. But anyway, no Star Wars animation is classic unless we're counting parts of Episode 3. Hey-o. Okay. That's those. If you want one of these, we're willing to trade one of them, so...
Now we're getting into when things started changing.
Okay, so in 1997, as everyone knows, theatrical re-releases of Star Wars, but this time with changes, the special editions. Very controversial special editions. Now, quick,
Yes.
giving our opinions of the special editions, I'm not too fond of a lot of the changes, but I do like some of the changes, so I'm kind of like, I'd like a mix and match. So.
Yeah, fuck Jabba the Hutt.
The Jabba the Hutt scene, as written, is nice. It's a nice bonus, but they could have just finished it and included it as a deleted scene.
Yeah, not necessary.
I don't like that they put the big scene back in at the end without putting the big scene in the beginning, which they shouldn't do.
Yeah, because you're just like...
Because then it would interrupt the flow, but you're just like, who's Biggs? I mean, I knew who Biggs was.
Biggs?
I mean, I like it as a fan, because I know who Biggs is. But
Yeah.
if you're not a fan...
You don't know who the fuck Biggs is.
Yeah, you don't know who Biggs is. It's a... If you're, I mean, if you're not like a hardcore fan. But anyway, they put these out on VHS in a very, very nice box
Yes.
set. This is the full frame edition, unfortunately. I would like to get the widescreen edition because my favorite cut of Jedi is probably the 97 version. These have, beautiful Drew Struzan artwork. I have this... I have this image, the theatrical poster of this image hanging at the bottom of my stairs. Somehow I convinced my mother to let me do that. I'm the king. These are great images, and these are controversial releases of the films, obviously. These also include little making of the special editions at the beginning. I had the one at the beginning of New Hope memorized because I watched this tape so many times.
I had them pretty close.
And because I remember the guy's voice. I remember the guy's voice. It's James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
I remember James Earl Jones at the end is like, now sit back, relax, and enjoy the Star Wars trilogy special edition.
And then didn't it always end with the Death Star exploding with the ring?
Yeah. That was yeah. Okay. So I mean, these are the versions. I definitely prefer. Well, I don't prefer the original version of Jedi because fuck the Yub Yub song. I don't care if you grew up with it. It's garbage.
Fuck it.
It's garbage. I don't want my Star Wars trilogy ending with a bunch of Ewoks going singing their little tribal song.
The end of Jedi is like the end of the school year. You're done with high school, you're cleaning out your locker, you don't want to hear some fucking 2-foot-tall midgets going, yub yub, you don't want to hear that.
I mean, it's actually a nice little piece of music on its own. It would be a good choice for, 8 years later, John Williams, you could have used that in Hook.
Or it could have been used in the Ewoks cartoon series.
Yeah, it fits Ewoks. It doesn't fit the end of the saga.
Yeah, it's not.
Especially now that there's 6 movies. If I ever watch 1 through 6, it's just like, that's the note you're going out on. And the new piece of music that John Williams composed for the '97 cut is fucking king.
Yes,
I really like that, and I think it flows beautifully into the main theme for the credits. I think it's good.
It's good.
Anyway, but that's my favorite version of Jedi, although it has the terrible CGI dance number
with
Jedi Rocks.
Max Rebo and
yeah, that's hideous. I can't. We can't go down this road. We're talking about the VHS release.
Yes.
Beautiful VHS release. I wish I had the wides. I'm kind of annoyed that Star Wars. Thankfully, we're in the age where full screen editions aren't even released of most movies. But you put this in upside down, you motherfucker.
Sorry.
But anyway, but the widescreen editions of this were silver, and this was gold, and the same thing happened with the 2004 DVDs. And I think the gold one looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, it does.
And especially with the DVDs. I mean, we're not talking too much about DVDs here, but they like the prequel widescreen DVDs were gold.
Yeah.
And trilogy widescreen DVDs were silver. So it was like, but anyway, whatever. It's still a nice edition, and like I love this. This packaging's beautiful,
It's because of that reason I actually own the DVDs in full screen. I just ran to the store, fucking psyched, grabbed the first one. Gold looks better than silver, not thinking there was any difference, got home, full screen. But it looks better on my shelf.
It does, and you watch it on, you watch it on DVD. So.
Yeah.
I mean that version especially. Anyway, okay. Now 1999.
2 years after Special Edition.
Phantom Menace is released.
Whole new fucking movie.
We're not going to talk too much about the movie. Personally, I've gone through so many phases with this movie. Very first time I saw it, loved it, of course. Like everyone, don't lie.
Yeah, you loved it first time
you
you
loved
saw
it for a few hours anyway. Because there's a few amazing sequences, to be sure. But then I, like everybody else, realized, Jar Jar, Jake Lloyd, scum shit. But then, shortly after Episode 2 came out, I wasn't a huge fan of Episode 2 when it came out. And I kind of was like, oh, well, maybe Phantom Menace isn't too bad. And for the past 8... Jesus, it's been 9 years since Episode 2.
Jesus.
For the past 9 years, I've been thinking, maybe Phantom Menace isn't too bad. And I've watched it once or twice, and I just focus so much on the things I like about it, which are, of course, the lightsaber duel is king. Don't try to deny it. Qui-Gon Jinn is a straight
Amazing.
G. Liam Neeson, king. I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I think he does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and I actually kind of like some of the new creatures. Like I liked Watto. I thought Watto was fun.
Yeah, Watto.
There's other things I liked, but I rewatched all the films a couple months ago, and Phantom Menace is quite bad. It definitely lives up to most of its reputation. It's not one of the worst films of all time. That's purely a reaction to hype and disappointment. It's an alright movie. It's definitely worth owning. There's definitely a few amazing things in it. And, yeah. So, of course, when it comes out in 2000 on VHS, we get, your regular old slipcase edition. Nice little edition. This was a used copy. I have the original one that I bought, but it's in really bad shape, and so I didn't want to embarrass myself. This one's, it has. I'm not too fond of the cover design on this. I think it's all right. I like the spines a lot.
Yeah.
In the back is nicely laid out. Although you have a picture of Jar Jar, it feels like. Every generation has a legend. Every journey has a first step. Every saga has a beginning. Classic tagline.
Yeah, good.
The marketing for Episode 1, second to none as far as any
phenomenal.
movie I've ever seen. But anyway, little did I know, there are a few VHS releases of this. There was also, you have this and you didn't bring it, but...
It's a box set. It's about this big.
Mm-hmm.
You open it up like this, and inside there is the widescreen version of the VHS, a 35mm frame clipping. Every one is individual. I don't remember what my scene is right now though. And then an art book that has most of the concept art for the film.
Very nice. Also, came out in a clamshell edition, nice gold clamshell. Same cover, same spine, same back. Now, you think clamshell, okay, you want to open it up, I'm just going to see the tape there, whatever. But no. You open it up, and it has the slipcase inside. That's nice. That's what I want to see. I think every clamshell should almost be like this. It's nice, because then if you're a scumbag who loses your clamshells, then at least you still have a cover. And, I hate to cater to scumbags, but, it's cool. So, yeah, that was nice. Now, we don't have any other later VHS releases here. I have a copy of Episode 2 on VHS of Attack of the Clones, although it's in really bad shape. Dabeedoo actually picked it up for me Like, I never bought it on VHS because by that time I had a DVD
DVD.
player. And this was before I kind of regained interest in VHS. But you bought this for me at a Splitstone, which is a store we go to. And it was only 25 cents, but it was like it's in such bad condition.
It's like the box masking tape.
It's wrapped
together.
in like clear masking tape, and it has an address label on it, as if like, oh, if it gets lost, somebody's gonna come to this guy's house and
return it to him.
And I would be like, oh, okay, well, I mean, and the worst part of it is like a friend of me and Dan's from middle school who gave us a VCR also offered to give us a copy of Attack of the Clones, but this was before I was really interested in collecting good movies on VHS. This was back in like November or something of 2010, which was when VHShitfest was really just like us buying bad, obscure movies. We didn't buy anything like that was well known at all, no matter what the release was or anything. And I really regret that. I mean, it's not worth anything, but I'd like to have it in better condition than that. That tape looked pretty much like the Episode 1 tape with just with Episode 2 stuff on it. Also in 2002, it was 2002 or 2003?
For the DVD?
Oh, 2002. It was November 2002. Then there was another box set of the trilogy that came out.
Yeah.
Which I don't own. I've seen it. It's a nice packaging, actually.
It's a bit different than...
It's a lot different, actually. It's white.
It kind of looks... It's like
somewhat
a variation of this.
And the spines, the spines and individual packaging design line up with the prequels, which, you know, some people like, some people don't. Although it's white, it's not black.
Yeah.
So there's that. That was the last Star Wars VHS release. That and the Episode 2 set, the Episode 2 release.
End of an era.
And Revenge of the Sith came out on May 19th, 2005 in theaters, and it came out on November 3rd, 2005 on DVD. I remember this very clearly, going to the store, buying it. I got it with some bonus thing. But no VHS release. Now, the last VHS release, it's debated somewhat, but generally agreed to be A History of Violence, the David Cronenberg film, which came out in, I believe, February or March of 2006. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I am pissed. I want Revenge of the Sith on VHS. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite of the prequels. I actually really like that movie in general. I have very little problem with it. This scumbag over here does, of course. He hates everything about it. He thinks it's the worst Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it is. Hayden Christensen is god-awful.
He's worse in Episode 2, and he actually has a few good moments in Episode 3. No.
You think one of his best moments is the "I hate you" line?
That's good.
It's
that's
delivered
good.
so
it's
terribly.
So emotional. And then when it goes
He
back to
sounds like
Obi-Wan,
a 5-year-old yelling at his parents. I hate you.
He goes, that is so wrong. You don't even get it close to getting it right.
No, it's pretty damn close.
No. And then when Obi-Wan says, you know, when he says that he loves him,
Anakin, you were my brother.
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. He loved him. He doesn't love him anymore because he's Vader now. Get it? Everybody's gonna hate me now. I know VHShitfest readers probably are on his side. You're all scumbags. Fuck you. I'm all fucking Battle of the Heroes. That's a great new piece from John Williams.
I have nothing wrong with the music.
I fucking love so much about Episode 3. There's so many good scenes. I know Dan can back me up on this.
She's dying. She's lost the will to live.
There's some cornball moments, I'm not gonna lie. It's not on the level of the trilogy.
You're also in this future with all this fucking technology, flying cars.
It's not the future,
blasters.
bitch.
Well,
it's the past, a long time ago.
Then how the fuck did Padme not know she had twins?
Yeah, I know. There's a few things like that. I don't know how she didn't know. That's bullshit, whatever. I don't know why people have to pick apart movies like this. This movie has so many
That's
good
what you
things.
pick apart? Like, there's creatures and fucking...
Yeah.
In the past?
Yeah,
all
nice
this fucking
track.
futuristic shit?
And then, okay, the last shot makes me come.
The last shot was done on green screen.
Alright, everyone shut up. There's only one problem with episode 3, and that's that it didn't come out on VHS.
Yeah, it's
Clearly.
the only problem. It should be out on VHS. I want to be looking at that. I want it to look like shit. Like every VHS... like, the worst shit. Like every VHS transfer, like, post-2001. You ever notice that? Like, they look
really
so
bad.
fucking bad. I want to look at just terrible fucking quality. But no. Episode 3's King. It's too bad it's not on VHS. You know, obviously there's more VHS releases of Star Wars shit that we didn't talk about. One thing, obviously a film that's never been it's not a film, I guess, it's more a television special.
Yeah.
That's never been released in any format officially, was a VHS bootleg staple, the Star Wars Holiday Special. You know, everybody knows about it. You know, it's trash. The only thing really notable about it on any sort of like good level is the first appearance of Boba Fett, and that's a pretty okay.
That's probably the
cartoon.
only decent part of the whole special.
Yeah, like there's a couple of funny parts, but it's mostly just drags. It's trash.
Yeah, the first half hour is Wookiee talk.
Everybody knows about it.
It's terrible.
This is like, you know, classic bad movie. This is like Plan 9 from Outer Space, Man of the Hands of Fate type thing. Like, we don't need to talk about it. But, you know, we have this old VHS bootleg. We actually haven't watched this. We don't know if there's anything else on it. I kind of hope there is. It would be kind of cool. I don't know. But, you know, the movie's still heavily bootlegged on DVD and on the internet. You know, I saw it. I remember downloading it on Napster, and it took me like a month and a half to download this because we were working on a dial-up connection. And I remember watching it. This was like 2000 or whenever Napster was around, and and I was just so crushed and disappointed watching it.
The first time you watch it,
I mean, I knew it was going to be bad because it was notorious.
You know it's going to be bad, but you don't realize it's going to be that bad.
Like, you didn't realize anything Star Wars could be this bad. People like to shit on the prequels.
You can't shit on the prequels.
The prequels have each of those films has at least one truly great sequence.
Yeah, there's something good in every one of the prequels.
There's nothing good about this except the cartoon, which is only really good because it's Boba Fett's first appearance, and we like talking about how it's Boba Fett's first appearance.
Yeah, it's fucking
really, it's not that great a cartoon. It's okay.
No.
Like,
yeah,
it's kind of just a lame late 70s cheap cartoon.
Yeah, just bad.
It's, you know, look, Star Wars on VHS, long, beautiful lineage of great releases. I'd say definitely, from a packaging standpoint, the best release is certainly the 86 box set. It's a beautiful package, beautiful, heartfelt letter from George Lucas. And, you know, I also love the special edition release. I think that's a great package.
Yeah, very nice.
The 95 release, it's not as nice and extravagant as of a package, but it has nice cover art. I think it's pretty iconic cover art. I think about it a lot. You know, the 2002 release, which we don't own, I think it's, you know, it's a nice little box set. I like the nice plastic slipcase that comes off, and then there's another slipcase underneath. I love layered slipcases. That's what I'm all about. But, you know, anyway.
Next year we'll do update, fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have more.
Send us some Star Wars shit. That's worthless, so you can send it to us.
Almost no Star Wars stuff is worth anything except the making of Star Wars, hosted by C-3PO and R2-D2. Those original two printings, those are worth kind of a lot. But, like, nothing else is really worth anything. We need the Battle for Endor, the second Ewoks movie. You're going to see a review for the first one later today.
Any Ewoks, Droids cartoons, any different editions that we didn't talk about, help us fill the gaps.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we covered pretty much every edition of the trilogy, at least passingly. So, but if we didn't, and I know somebody out there watching knows that we missed something.
We missed,
Because even Dabeedoo, as knowledgeable as he is, and even me, as knowledgeable I am about some things, he's definitely more knowledgeable about merchandise and DVD releases and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But even he probably doesn't know everything. I know somebody out there does know everything. So, fuck you if you don't give us some shit. Just give us Star Wars shit. Star Wars is the best.
Yes.
So yeah, if you don't like Star Wars, you're scum. Fuck you.
Hey, one more thing. Did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. We'll be destroyed for sure.
Still terrible.
I don't think so.
Terrible. May the Force be with you, bitch.
Happy 25th.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars, don't let them end. Star Wars, if they should